He's a writer for The New Yorker, a contributor here at Sunday Morning, and now author of a new book called Major Labels. But ask our Kelefa Sanneh, and he'll tell you he's still a punk rocker at heart.
Did I like music? Sure I did.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
I acquired and studied a Common Core curriculum of greatest hits compilations by the Beatles, Bob Marley, and the Rolling Stones. But I didn't start obsessing over music until my 14th birthday in 1990, when my best friend, Matt, gave me a mixtape.
Do you remember making this mixtape?
Vaguely. I mean, I made a lot of mixtapes because that was my primary way of communicating with others at the time.
Meet Matt Moses.
I actually have the mixtape.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The guy who unwittingly changed my life.
This is the tape that you made me back in 1990.
These days, Matt is a corporate attorney, while I have been writing about music for more than 2 decades.
So that mixtape fully converted me into listening to punk music and listening to all sorts of other music. I kind of became a professional music listener.
Now I've written my first book, a history of all kinds of music, rock and roll, R&B, country, hip-hop, and one genre that became my first passion, punk rock. For me, the thrill of punk lay in its negative identity. Punk demanded total devotion to be expressed as total rejection of the mainstream.
It kind of like changed everything, I'd say. Angry was fun, angry.
And wait, 8th grade, were you angry?
You know, because at the time I was in 8th grade, I was feeling pretty angry.
That year when the Ramones, who were punk pioneers, were playing nearby, I begged my mom to take me. And while she watched, or more likely didn't, from the safety of the bar area, I spent a blissful hour amid a sweaty group of aging punks and youthful posers, all shoving one another and shouting along.
So you went with your mother?
My mother took me to see the Ramones.
Did she like it?
I don't know if she liked it as much as I did.
Okay, there you go.
Drummer Mark Bell, known as Marky Ramone, was on stage that night, along with his bandmates, who went by Johnny, Joey, and CJ Ramone. That crowd, including me, was downright well-behaved compared to the ones he used to face back in the 1970s.
What were those audiences like?
Crazy. Spitting, you know, they would get the beer just to spit. And
was this a gesture of affection?
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Right.
I was in the back. I wasn't getting it.
The Ramones helped define the punk movement.
Did you embrace that term from the beginning, or did it take you a few years to get comfortable with saying, I'm punk rock, this is what I do?
Well, we were loud, we were very young, some of us were obnoxious. I guess that name applied.
Decades later, the music endures, and the look does too.
This velvet one?
That's nice.
Back in 1978, when Marky joined the band, he fit right in.
Did they ask you to get your hair cut in the Ramones style?
Well, I always wore a leather jacket. I always wore jeans to sneakers, so I didn't have to change anything.
Right. Were you thinking, I just joined the greatest band in the world?
No, I didn't think that. I knew there were only a few bands that when you hear them, you know who they are.
Right.
When you hear the Ramones, you know it's the Ramones.
Many groups borrowed from the Ramones' sound, including a whole bunch of English bands, like the Sex Pistols. And soon after Matt and I discovered punk, grunge came along.
And all of a sudden, like the biggest band among our peers who didn't like our weird punk stuff was Nirvana, a band led by a dude who liked the exact same records we did.
And probably some better ones.
Oh yeah, punk was going totally mainstream.
Yeah, and I resented that.
Of course.
Having learned at 14 to savor the perverse charms of punk, I eventually came to hear just about the entire universe of popular music as perversely charming, or potentially so.
I feel like I am a punk. I feel like I'll probably always be a punk, but there was a sense when you were 15 years old in which you really were a punk.
That's fair. Yeah.
To this day, Matt and I are still obsessed with music, but at least one of us has grown up a bit.
Are you still a punk in that sense today?
No, I think not. I think good on you for keeping it alive, but that sounds tiring.